Hey there, Skeleton Key here. Welcome back to my channel. And today uh, this is another last minute, late night round of voting on the 2025 Goodreads Choice Awards. So the top 10 in each category. Um, yeah, I did. Yeah, it's late night. It's impromptu. I just, posted it, half an hour ago, maybe. So, yeah, and it doesn't look like there's anybody here. That's fine. I hope you'll watch it on replay. And so, yeah, you're watching on replay. So, yeah, feel free to jump into the comments and share your thoughts on these. And then after that, I will be talking a little bit about some of my reading and also remembering my mother who passed away 3 years ago today. So, she gave me my love of reading. And, I come from a long line of book hoarders. So, yeah. But let's go ahead and get into the Goodreads Choice Awards, the final voting. So I will share my screen. And I think I've already got it set up. Like I said, this was just, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is Sunday. I better get my votes in. And let's see. There we go. So you should be able to see that. Let me move this over here. Yeah, I do not have separate screens, but, so I have to kind of slide things around a bit so that I can actually look at the camera while I am voting. So, yeah, of course, it tells me about the nominees I have on my shelves. I knew that already. And I did do a little bit of voting already, so we'll see those ones that's like, yeah, I want to vote for that. And Wild Dark Shore, yeah, I love that book. And even though, as I said last time, I can understand why there are some people who, have criticisms, and I would say they're probably valid, but they didn't bother me. So I am voting for Wild Dark Shore. I'm trying to think. I never really know what to expect from the general fiction category. So it's hard to say what surprises me or doesn't surprise me. So with this top 10, who do I think is going to win? And some of these author names I've never heard of. And then there's like Wally Lamb. I've heard of a lot, but never really felt compelled to really look at his books. And, just reading this description here, I kind of understand why. Corby Ledbetter is struggling. New fatherhood, the loss of his job, and a growing secret addiction have thrown his marriage to his beloved Emily into a tailspin. I have no interest in reading that. But I'm sure there's obviously a large audience for that, people who love that, and yay. I'm glad you found a book you love. But I'm interested in my friends just because I have enjoyed a Frederick Backman book. The Correspondent does sound interesting to me. I've heard glowing reviews of Ocean Vuong, so I figure I probably ought to give that a try. And either that or I can't remember the name of the earlier book that got so much love. But let's see, the names, I keep seeing this everywhere. Well, because it's a Jenna pick. But I don't know. It sounds like it might be interesting, so I don't know that. And I'll probably get back to We All Live Here. It seemed interesting as I was reading it, but I just got distracted with other things that were more pressing. But I have voted on Wild Dark Shore. Who do I think will win? Eee, I think Wild Dark Shore actually has a pretty good chance because there's so many people who love it, but I have heard quite a bit of backlash. So, I'm gonna guess My Friends, Frederick Backman. Um, he seems to be at a really good high point in his career right now. So, and I've heard good things about My Friends. So, okay, so moving on to historical fiction. I have not voted in this yet. Have I read any of these yet? I have not read any of these. I've started reading this, and it's fine. I like it. But I'm not far enough in to say whether I think it's of an award-winning book. If I were voting on the cover, I would say The Amalfi Curse, but I have not read that yet. I suspect Atmosphere is going to win. That's my prediction. Um, hmm. Do I want to vote? I don't think I want to vote. I don't think I want to vote in this category because I'm not familiar enough with any of these books or even these authors, even the ones that I have read from before. Um, yeah, I couldn't say. So I'm not gonna vote. I mean, I'm tempted to vote for that one just because I love the cover, but oh well. Mystery and thriller, I have already voted for We Are All Guilty Here, which I thought was very, very good. It's not I don't uh, I I don't know. It might win, but I don't know. I kind of think it's really hard to say because you've got Richard Osman, who's kind of running on a high with the movie version of the first book in the Thursday Murder Club series. Although, probably ought to do. I am going to reread the Thursday Murder Club, and I probably will do sort of a book movie comparison thing. And actually, that's the reader's cut is going to be doing that, and I think in sort of a transitional phase to from Cereal and Milk to the reader's cut. Um, and I'm not clear on the details on that. If I find out, I'll put them in the description box. But yeah, so we're going to be doing, yeah, I'll be doing it as part of the book club. But I had planned to do it on my own anyway, to do a reread of the Thursday Murder Club and then a comparison to the movie. Spoiler alert, I was disappointed in the movie, but I don't really want to say more until I have reread the book and can pick things apart properly. Let's see. S.A. Cosby is doing really well. He might win. I'm actually kind of surprised to see the Alice Feeney in here. I know so many people who hated that book. I started it and I do plan to get back to it because it was intriguing. Just the very beginning. I may yet DNF it. Who knows? Well, We Are All Guilty Here when I kind of don't think so. And then you've got Dan Brown. I don't know. And I was a little surprised to see the second Vera Wong book. And I was a little surprised that The Tenant was the Frida McFadden that made it through. And I kind of expected two Fridas to make it through, but I don't know. I'm gonna guess that King of Ashes wins. because I feel like there's a lot of good buzz for S.A. Cosby these days. Romance. I have not voted in this, and I probably won't because I'm looking at this going. The cover that looked the most interesting to me is, the other Bryn Weaver book. Did not make it through. What was that? Tourist Season, I think was the title. And I've heard Abby Jimenez fans say that this one was a bit of a disappointment. It's still got a 4.02 average rating. Any of these? Oh, that's a 4.18. Emily Henry. Yeah, 3.97, really. And I've read one. I really enjoyed it, but all of her others just, I read Book Lovers, but all of her others just sound kind of boring or weird. Like, why would you think that's a romantic situation? Or how could that turn romantic? This, I don't know anything about the Ruinous Love trilogy. And, can I expand this out? Yeah. There. It'll actually show the entire box now. Running from a broken heart. One he hopes to mend in small town Nebraska. Eh. um. I think the favorites. Well, no. Although, let's see. Okay, so that's a 3.97. The favorites is a 4.06. I kind of wonder if the favorites will win. I think that's a distinct possibility. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. Yay. So if Emily Henry doesn't win, I think it's going to be the favorites. Because I've heard I think it's going to get a lot of people who don't normally read romances, because I gather this isn't really a romance novel per se. But I think it's going to get a lot of votes from people who normally don't vote in this category, or either just don't care about this category. Romantasy. Yeah, so I'm not voting in that one. I actually saw someone I respect give this like a 5-star rating, and it's sitting at 4.47. This is probably going to win because, oh wait, we've got Rebecca Yarros. 4.21, 4.47. How? I've heard so much. I have not read it. I don't know anything about Sinlin Yu except that it's Draco Hermione stuff, and it's promotes toxic relationship dynamics, and I hate that is what we're serving up to mostly young women, but people in general. And I haven't read the second book yet of this, let alone the third. I'm going to go ahead and vote. I love the first book in this series, so I'm going to go ahead and vote for this one. I think it's between Onyx Storm and Alchemized. I hope Alchemized does not win. But there we go. Next category is fantasy. Have I read any of these? No, I have not. Haven't read the first book there. I love that cover. But I've been told that I probably wouldn't appreciate the book that much, that it'd be fine, but yeah, not. Alchemy of Secrets. And I've heard so much backlash on the Raven Scholar after all the wonder, it's like 4.45. First in a trilogy. I don't know. It's gonna win. I'm not voting in this one. I don't know enough, which is really kind of weird. Because I don't know. I've also heard that this is really good. It's only 3.98 though. That's interesting. The River Has Roots. No, I'm not going to vote. Who do I think will win? I do. I think it's probably, well, no. I was thinking maybe Brandon Sanderson. But that's the 5th book in a series, and I know he's got a very loyal following and a very large loyal following, but Calabasas. I think there's way too much of a split on Calabasas, or however it's pronounced. I'm tempted to get the audiobook just so that I can hear the narrator pronounce the title. Although, okay, Alchemy of Secrets sounds the most interesting to me. Joe Abercrombie gets a lot of love. I am going to guess that the Raven Scholar takes it. If Brandon Sanderson doesn't get it, I think it'll be the Raven Scholar. Science fiction. All right, well, I think I'm going to have to go with the only one I've read. I might be reading The Dream Hotel soon, and I've heard good things about it. What do I think will win? I honestly don't think When the Moon Hits Your Eye is going to win. I kind of suspect the Poppy Fields will win. I don't know enough about most of these. Most of these, like, I haven't heard of The Compound or that author. I haven't heard of The Book of Lost Hours or that author. I mean, I'm going to vote for Scalzi because I've actually read that. I think the Poppy Fields will get it. Horror, which is oddly enough the category that I am most familiar with this year. Have I read any of these though? Oh, Bat Eater. Yes, Bat Eater. I'm very glad Bat Eater made it through. I wasn't surprised that it made it through though. Also wasn't surprised that The Bewitching made it through. A lot of people, I've been watching spoilery book club videos about We Love You, Bunny, and it's a lot of people hate it. And I'm still, I've started it and I'm like, do we really need this? I'm gonna keep listening until I either finish it or it pisses me off. So we'll see. And I've heard the narration, when it gets into another section of the narration, that I probably will put it down. I don't know. We'll just see. I figure I have to decide this for myself. And see, The Lamb, I've heard good things about that. What do I think will win? Well, there's Stephen King. Does Stephen King always win, though? I don't know. I kind of want Stephen Graham Jones to win. I've read like the little free chapter or whatever at the end of something else. And so far, yeah, I do want to get back to it. But I'm going to vote for Bat Eater. I'm going to hope Bat Eater wins. Although it'll probably be Stephen King. Debut novel. Alchemized again. And again, I don't know enough about any of these. Do not know. I know I have this on my want to read list. In Coney Island, true love rises to the surface. With lush illustrations and buoyant prose, Vanessa Vita Kelly forges an unforgettable New York fairy tale. It's illustrated. Oh, so I might need to get a physical copy of that. And it looks like the kind of thing that they would give sprayed edges to, or stenciled edges, or maybe decorated edges. Let's just put it that way, because somebody was saying the other day in a discussion group, I think, that gilded edges is a completely different process from sprayed edges. And then the sprayed edges we're seeing with all this intricate detail, I've also heard called stenciled edges. So I don't know. And then, and some of them are so detailed that I'm like, stenciled? Really? How do they do that? I don't know. So I will have to look and see if there are any special editions of that one out. But I'm not going to vote. Not going to vote. Audiobook. Alchemized again. If Alchemized sweeps these categories, I'm going to be so upset. But fortunately, we've got Taylor Jenkins Reid and Emily Henry to protect against that. Tour Season did make it through in the audiobook category, if not the, what was it, romantasy category? I do not want to vote for an Audible original. And this bugs me that this is so popular, but I don't want to get into that right now. But I'm not going to vote. Oh, and yeah, we've got Rebecca Yarros. So let's hope that one of those powerhouses can keep Alchemized out of the running. But I don't see anything that I feel like voting for. Young adult fantasy and sci-fi, which didn't they used to be separate categories, but how they do categories is weird. And like I said in my earlier video, I'm not here to gripe about how Goodreads Choice Awards are operated. There are plenty of people who will do that for you if you so desire. I don't know enough about any of these. I'm not surprised to see Sunrise on the Reaping made it through. Legendborn Cycle. I've heard good things about the Legendborn Cycle, but I couldn't say. Not voting. Oh, who do I think will win? Let's go back. I think it'll be Sunrise on the Reaping. I mean, got almost 1 million ratings and a 4.51 average rating. I will probably read that one. I skipped Songbird and Snakes or something like that, whatever that was, the President Snow one. I skipped that one, but this one actually sounds interesting to me, and sounds like it adds something to the stories. So I will probably read that one at some point. Should I go ahead and vote for it? And actually, should I go ahead and vote against Alchemized? I don't know. No. I'm overthinking these silly awards that shouldn't mean anything. Young adult fiction. I'm just going to go ahead and vote for Dating and Dragons since I enjoyed the first book in the series. What I don't think it will win, though. I think. Oh, I don't. So many of these I don't recognize the author names or anything. So I recognize Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So my guess is that Glorious Rifles will win. Although I don't know. I'm not hearing buzz about this series anymore. Or is it part of the series? Or maybe it's a new series? I don't know. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Ooh, Hamnet. I have Hamnet. I have not read it yet. But now it's a movie. When is it? Sorry. Everywhere December 5th. Do I want to go out to the cinema? Not really, but nonfiction. I will vote for The Serviceberry because I have read it. But I say it's going to be between Everything is Tuberculosis and One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This, which I do want to read. I'm sure I've marked that one to read. But anyway, yeah. I've just heard so much about both of these, and that's a 4.38, and that's a 4.63. So I'm guessing it'll be this one, but it could also be John Green. But I'm voting for The Serviceberry because I read this and I loved it. Next category, reader's favorite memoir. Did I read any of these? No, I did not. It's a 4.6. You know, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Nobody's Girl, even though I haven't read it yet. Just because I think it's important that I do want to read it, and I think it's important that it gets buzz. And history and biography. Do I think it'll win? I think it has a good chance of winning. And I voted for A Marriage at Sea, A True Story of Love, Obsession, and Shipwreck. And do I think it will win? I don't know. Just looking at the... I mean, Ron Chernow is a powerhouse in the history and biography arena. So he can win. But this also has a Colbert bump. That's a 3.84. I think I give it 4 stars. And yeah, I think Mark Twain is going to win. This is about Baldwin, but it's not by Baldwin. So it's not a memoir. A lot of stuff here I do want to read, but yeah, I'm voting for I voted already for A Marriage at Sea, even though I don't think it will win. But I think Mark Twain will win, and that is it. All right, there we go. All right, so now let's see. Going to switch over to talking about first Sunday of Advent, and the theme of the first week is hope. And I mentioned my mother before, so it's I miss her. We're not a demonstrative lot as Northern Europeans. I'm Swedish on my mom's side. I'm German on my dad's side. And there's a lot of British Isles in there somewhere. And, we don't like, wail and cry forever. Our mourning looks different than you might expect. But I do still mourn the loss of my mother. And let's see back here. But I think she would approve of my choice of reading for meditating on hope for the first week of Advent. And okay, so you probably recognize that I'm not a terribly religious person. I was raised in a Protestant church. I went to a Christian university, and so I consider myself a Christian of sorts, even though I'm, as I put it recently in a discussion about religion, I'm not so much a believer as a follower. And so I consider myself a Christian in that sense. And I appreciate a lot of the rituals and a lot of the concepts. And so even though I'm not religious, there's something about Advent, the Advent season, that speaks to me. And I remember lighting the Advent wreath candles at church, and so I decided this year that I'm going to do I'm not calling it a readathon. If anybody wants, is feeling inspired by this, sure, go ahead and join in. But do this however you like. I intend to read a different book each week of Advent, and so today is the first Sunday of Advent, November 30th, and so the four themes are, let me see, I forget what order they go in. Did I already thought I read it? Well, anyway, the first week is hope. The third week is joy. The fourth week is love. What is the second week? Somebody help me. Peace. The second week is peace. So hope, peace, joy, love. And so I have selected a different book, and I'm pretty sure I can get a hold of all of them. This one I've had for a while, actually. Hope in the Dark, Untold Histories, Wild Possibilities by Rebecca Solnit. I got this from Haymarket Books. I think they were giving it away either free or steeply discounted right after the 2016 election. Yeah, and so this is actually a new edition that came out in 2020, and I went ahead and I got the audiobook off of Libby, and then realized, oh wait, maybe maybe I should listen and read along to the old edition and just kind of compare and contrast. And it turns out Haymarket had updated the edition that I downloaded. And so they've got that. So I am doing an immersion read. And I do think my mother would approve of this choice. She was an activist all her life. And I remember her talking about, she went to Mizzou for her undergraduate degree. And, well, let's see. Undergraduate, but I think she actually graduated from Missouri State, which was maybe Southwest Missouri State. I'm not sure the exact timeline there. And I think she actually graduated from Missouri State in Springfield, but she had met my father at Mizzou, and then when he graduated, because he was several years older than she was, and so when he graduated, and he got a teaching job in Mount Vernon, and they moved down to the southwest part of the state. Anyway, yeah, she had told me stories of some of the sit-ins and demonstrations that they'd had on campus in, like, we're talking like 1961, but for the civil rights movement. She was very active in that on campus, and it's just so it's very frustrating to see all of this stuff still happening. And if she were out marching, I would expect her to be holding a sign that says, "I can't believe I'm still protesting this shit." Although she probably wouldn't say shit, or even write it on a sign. But yeah, she's been at this for a very long time. And the one of the last things she did was run for the state house in Missouri, in a very red district. And she lost, but people were amazed. I forget what percentage of the vote she got, but people were amazed that she was able to get that many blue votes in a red district. But yeah, she lost, but she felt it was important to get a message out there, and offer an alternative. So anyway, that's yeah, I am not one to get maudlin, but yeah, it's a difficult day. Just kind of thinking back, the last 3 years have been kind of difficult. But it's not something I talk about a lot, but I do miss my mother, and I feel like this is sort of a way to connect with her. Anyway, I will stop sharing. Go back here, rearrange my windows. And I didn't see anyone pop in at all, which does not surprise me. But yeah, so yeah, no comments. Anyway, I don't know what I will be doing in the month of December as far as posting videos. Oh, wow. It looks like there's one person here now. But I don't have a specific plan going forward right now. And um, just kind of trying to get things mainly figured out so that I can get sort of a running start at January. But I do plan to be posting. I'll probably be trying a few different things. Maybe not so much lives as maybe doing some shorts. There was a period there right after my mother died that I did nothing but shorts. And I might try doing some of that again, but I might try mixing it up and um, try out some different editing software and kind of see how that goes. So this is it. So December is probably going to be a very experimental month as I try to figure out what I want to do come January. So I hope you will come along for the ride. And yeah, if you're interested in keeping up with that, be sure you subscribe because subscribe to my channel because that is really the best way. And hit the bell if you want to be sure that you don't miss anything. Um, and yeah, do I don't know. It's like, everyone talks about the algorithms and, feeding the algorithms and getting comments and getting likes and subscriptions. And I'm not gonna lie, that's cool, but it's not something I pay attention to, and I probably should pay attention to it. So, um, yeah, I guess please like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I will talk at you later.